Love is built through understanding. This powerful and much needed message sent by the Dalai Lama shows us one more time how profound and important it is to recognize and accept our own differences, difficulties and weak spots, and those of our fellow human beings. A wise woman said once to me, "Lived weakness becomes strength." That's why in today's video I will show you what gift you may have suffering in any kind of intestinal disease using the model of the 3 phases of inner tension. And I will explain you how only one change almost cured all my symptoms and improved significantly my mental and physical performance. Hello and a very warm welcome to the Alentejo-Holidays channel. My name is Moritz Engelhardt. Join us on our journey to the mysteries of success. We really strive to offer you authentical added value so that we can all make this beautiful world a little bit better. And now we are delved deep into the microcosm of our intestinal health after the intro.
Life is good.
As someone affected myself, I've been trying to improve my gut health for more than 20 years now. Because like so many of my fellow sufferers, I have experienced that modern medicine is reaching its limits when it comes to chronic intestinal diseases. But on the other hand, a study published on the Journal of Occupational and Environmental Medicine reveals that people with chronic illnesses, such including intestinal disorders, are often better than average at using their working time efficiently. The study comes to the conclusion that due to the subject's impaired performance, the available time and energy would be used much more efficiently. But after sharing my experience with many others, and based on my own story of suffering, I come to another conclusion, which I would like to share with you based on the model of inner tension. Why is that? Inner tension and inner restlessness, somehow chaotic thinking. So, why is the inner tension? Because the intestine and the brain are connected to each other via the so-called intestinal brain axis. The vagus nerve is one of the largest nerves in the body that functions like an information highway between the brain and the digestive tract. And the intestine produces also hormones and neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine, which influences our behavior. And the gut flora produces metabolic products that reach the brain via blood and can trigger inflammation there. That's why a permanent irritated intestine leads to internal tension and increases the brain activity. Almost everyone I met was constantly looking for peace and relaxation. You often hear, "Oh, that's too much stress for me." Why is that so? Precisely because the tension on the inner level caused by an irritated digestive tract is so high that the whole nervous system is noticeably affected, which leads to constant stress and irritability. You may say now, "Moritz, you told me that people with an irritated intestinal system are very often capable of high performance." So far, we are only talking about nerves and relaxation, because this phase, the phase of inner tension, leads to the next phase, the phase of high performance. Those affected people live their lives very often in phases. If you have enjoyed the video so far, I'd like to thank you so much for a like and a subscription to our channel. We really have the goal of presenting you a lot of exciting topics and guests here. And of course, your positive feedback encourages us to continue, to improve, and to provide you with a lot of added value. For everyone who sticks with us until the end, I have a small but extremely helpful goodie. But now let's get on with the video. In the high performance phase, all the internal tension is released outwards. Highly concentrated, sometimes long-lasting performance workload. This phase can also last longer depending on the individual goals. I know a woman, for example, who completed the German naturopath exam in 3 months, which is a quite remarkable achievement. At the beginning, when the batteries are still full, everything runs smoothly and problem-free. The longer the phase lasts, the more difficult it becomes to regain the state of peak performance after a break, as the body becomes increasingly weaker. At the end, usually after reaching a certain goal or certain stage, it then switches to the phase of exhaustion. Due to the overstimulated nervous system, which goes hand in hand with an overstimulated digestive system, total exhaustion occurs with extreme sensitivity to external stimuli. And slowly, after a certain amount of recovery, it slides back into phase 1, the phase of inner tension. I once met a guy, of course he was with his family on a gap year, traveling around with his almost perfectly self-designed camper. Before that, he held a management position in an automotive supplier. Sounds familiar, right? And of course, he was already planning his new career again. What I want to point out is the ambivalence of the trilemma, so to speak, since each state, in principle, inevitably initiates the birth of the next phase, which in effect all too often leads to an extraordinary lifestyle, as each phase simultaneously initiates the birth of the next. On the other hand, this lifestyle takes individuals out of the comfort zone with a certain regularity, because a normal life is constantly critically questioned, at latest in the phase of inner tension. In my case, phase 3 became more and more extensive at some point, which pushed me again and again to look for a way out. This search began at least 20 years ago, and of course it started with the classics: avoid milk and gluten, and become a vegetarian, and then become a vegan. Of course, I always felt the effect, but I've never felt a breakthrough. On a flight home from Switzerland, I came across the videos of Sven Völpel, a German guy who publishes books and studies on the subject of longevity, more or less by chance. He talks a lot about the principle of the fountains of youth formula. Basically, he introduced all the methods and behaviors he knows that have been proven to increase health and extend life. According to him, 1 meal a day has one of the strongest effects on health, performance, and well-being. Then I found Christopher Gerke, a fitness influencer who claims to have been symptom-free with his chronic intestinal disease, ulcerous colitis, for 6 years thanks to 1 meal a day diet. That was definitely enough for me to try 1 meal a day for myself. My conclusion after about 3 months: the transition period at the beginning wasn't easy for me because I mainly eat a vegan diet for ethical reasons. Since I don't have a very good experience with violent procedures, I decided to eat only 1 meal a day for 3 to 6 days a week and eat 2 or 3 times a day the rest of the days, depending on my feelings. I have to say that the way I feel about my body has changed a lot since then. My head has become infinitely clearer and my stress level has dropped significantly. This means I no longer feel exhausted during my one meal of day phases. My performance has increased a lot. I managed to break out of my almost chronic exhaustion without having to recover like I used to. Like many people, I used to always have the feeling that I had to eat all time in order to be productive. Today I see it differently. Fasting has always been difficult for me. So far, despite great effort, I have not been able to fast longer than 5 days in a row. That's why I don't put too much pressure on me with my one meal a day diet. After 5 days at latest, I always added 2 days with 2 meals. But what excites me the most is that now at 51, I feel like I've been able to improve my performance again. Despite all the difficulties I have been able to overcome, I've always found life to be a great adventure trip with so much still to experience and discover. In my opinion, the fact that there are so many people today who can no longer tolerate certain foods may be due to the fact that our genes are simply not designed for 3 meals a day. Our ancestors repeatedly had to survive times with little or no food at all. Fasting is also firmly anchored in all religions and cultures. By switching to 1 meal a day, I can now tolerate more foods than before. So I can now eat legumes without any problems, which was definitely not possible before. In conclusion, I can say that I feel like new and I will definitely continue with 1 meal a day. The topic of nutrition is really a topic close to my heart, because I know how many people like me are desperately looking for solutions. So I really hope you were able to take something away from the video for yourself. If you have discovered something about how you can improve your life by changing your diet, please write it in the comments so that others can also benefit from it. As promised, I have a small but valuable extra for you at the end. In order to suppress the feeling of hunger and at the same time to lower my inflammation levels, I drink a lot of tea with pieces of ginger and lemons. So I drink this tea always when I feel hungry. I drink maybe half a liter or something, and then if you increase the water level in your stomach, the hunger goes away. So I really hope you enjoyed the video and see you in the next one. May the source bless us all. Keep rocking. Ciao.